Welcome to another Shoe Review Friday. I'm Zach,
I'm Luke.
and this week, brought to you by your guys' votes, we're going to be reviewing the Wave Inspire by Mizuno. We actually have both versions, the knit and the non-knit version here. So this was the tightest race. Only 3 votes separated this from the A6 model that I had pulled out, the GT2000.
Yeah.
So by process of elimination, we're probably going to do an A6 next week.
Yeah, I think we kind of need to.
Yeah. So if our A6 reps are out there watching, sorry, we'll get to you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate all the votes and the love you showed everybody on Instagram this past weekend. So take it away, Shoe Guru.
So this is the newest update of the Inspire. This is the Inspire 16, and while you have seen some changes coming from the 12, the 13, and the 14, the 16 to the coming off the 15 is basically all about consistency. The bottom and the outswing is exactly the same. I actually have one here to kind of compare. Everything from the upper down is 100% the same. The tread, the cushioning, the foam. The only thing that's different is the color. This is the last year's model. This is the current one that just came out last month, February 15th. So this is, as you can see, if you like the 15, you will like the 16. It's a stability shoe designed for people that do pronate. They use, instead of using a medial post or a guide rail system that we've talked about in previous episodes, they are using a wave plate, which is where Mizuno gets most of their waves as part of their names. The wave plates on the inside has a higher amplitude than the wave plate on the outside. So whenever you come down, if you pronate and your foot wants to kind of roll medially to the inside, that amplitude, that wedge, holds your heel in place and keeps you from rocking in. It's very stable. It does a great job of giving you support without being super heavy. Sometimes a stability shoe can be kind of weighty, so it's rather quick and responsive while still giving you some support. But that's been true of Mizuno for a long time now, so none of that is new. The Inspire, what is new is that they changed the upper. And whenever I say they changed the upper, they now have gone to a jacquard knit, or jacquard mesh, excuse me, and into a knit version. So the upper didn't just change, but it multiplied. We now have 2 options as far as the upper goes. The upper in the regular version I'm going to talk about is basically a little bit more user-friendly. The biggest thing that they got rid of is they got rid of the toe cap with the stitching over top here to protect your toe, and they got rid of the stitching around the logo, the Roadrunner Runbird that they have here. So they cleaned it up a lot to make that a lot more smooth. There is nothing here to rub your toes on, so there is no seam, giving you a little bit more of a smoother transition. And the logo is now pressed on into the fabric, so it's a lot more dynamic.
You don't feel it on the inside.
No, that was a complaint about the 15, is that the thicker bird did cause some pinching back here where your foot did try and splay a little bit, where the beak of the Roadrunner is. It could kind of bite in a little bit. So they addressed that and they cleaned it up, and I think that they did a good job. The other thing they changed is they took the heel cup and they made it asymmetrical, meaning that it now comes in a little bit further on the inside than the outside, so it gives you just a little bit more kind of support on the inside to kind of wrap around a little bit further down on the underneath the arch to kind of hold your foot a little bit more, again helping increase some of the stability that you have there. But all in all, the upper has gotten a little bit more smoother, a little bit more dynamic, and a little bit better of a fit without that pinching that you had in the 15. So if you like the 15, you will like the 16, and if you liked any iteration of the Inspire ever in the past, the nice thing with Mizuno is that they do a good job of keeping things consistent from one year to the next. So sizing is spot on. It does run a little bit small. I do feel like Mizuno is on a hair on the small side. But if you fit into one Mizuno shoe, it's pretty consistent throughout. So again, everything about that is pretty much, you know what you're getting, is straightforward. They took a product that they had kind of refined over the past couple iterations, and instead of trying to just change it for the sake of change, they kept a home run and they kept it rolling. So I do think that this is a good follow-up to the 15. The only thing I'm confused about is this lace hole right here on the side. It kind of drops down in a little bit to kind of give you a little bit more of a wrap around that. It's nothing that I can see does any difference.
No,
it's
but
not.
it's not on the knit.
It's not on the knit. It's just a weird, random eye hole that my OCD won't let me kind of ignore. And we can maybe get a little bit closer up on that as we get at the end of the comments.
We just need a camera guy.
Yeah, right. To just zoom in on us.
Yeah, we just need one of the other people to be here when we film, so they can come in.
But anyway, so that's the regular one with the jacquard mesh. And again, it's got that nice 3D printed mesh. Everything about it's very nice. And then they came out with the knit. And the knit has been something that has been hit or miss for a couple different companies. Hoka did it with the Clifton. It was a disaster. Mizuno did it with the Wave Rider. They did it very well. They took that into their Sky. That transitioned well. So they've gained enough confidence that they are now bringing it into their first support shoe with a knit option, and that is obviously the Inspired Knit. Same price as the regular one, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it just gives you a little bit more kind of that dynamic fit if you need it to. Can be a little bit more stretchier. It's a little bit heavier of a feel thickness-wise, and it's a little bit of a shallower over the toe kind of feel too. So if you have a toe that tends to kind of come up a little bit and it kind of catches on that, that's something to kind of pay attention to when you're trying it on. I said I'll mention the price again. The price did go up to $135. Not a huge jump, $5 from the 15 to the 16. However, whenever we're talking about a shoe that's jumping in price, and we're saying that this shoe is basically the same thing as the time before that.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
I will just cut it here.
Yep.
Just hit your button.
Hello.
All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. We had a customer come to the store, and we didn't really know how to prepare for that moment because it's the two of us here at the store, so we had to take care of that. We were talking about prices rising on some of these shoes. $5.
Yeah, so up to $135, and like I said, that's not a bad jump, especially when you consider it's gone to a knit upper. But when you're looking at the jacquard mesh for the exact same price, you do have to kind of wonder why we transitioned a shoe that had a very minor change into a higher price point.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not saying it's a bad price point. I'm just saying it begs the question of, if we're not changing that much, why are we going up to that next level? And I think the answer, to be honest, is they just wanted to be consistent between the knit and the regular. And it makes sense. The knit is a nice update if you like the knit, but the knit isn't for everybody. So that way it creates a little bit more kind of evenness in their own line.
I don't like the knit on my foot. I think it feels too snug.
I mean, I agree, but I do like that kind of snugger fit whenever you're the other thing I like about the fit is the way that your foot kind of goes down in the shoe nice and deep. It is a 12 millimeter offset, which is a relatively high, but part of that which feels good is it kind of hugs your foot with that higher backing around it, where it kind of that heel cup kind of gets on there.
All right, one last time before we end up wrapping this up. Another couple customers came to the store, so we apologize for having to kind of chop up the video. That's why you always see Luke and I looking off screen. So we had talked about price difference, the mesh. Why are we paying $5 more for the mesh instead of just paying $5 more for the knit?
Yeah, and you said that you actually prefer the regular mesh.
Correct.
I do prefer the knit a little bit. I think it's just a little bit thicker, holds your foot a little bit more, and in my opinion, it gives you that kind of more durable kind of feel for the mesh as far as it comes out. Now, don't get me wrong, the Inspire is always a durable shoe, and you shouldn't expect anything less out of either of these options, but that's my personal preference as far as A versus B.
Yes, it's just something about the way, I also feel like my foot doesn't breathe as well without the mesh. And I have stinky, sweaty feet. You're welcome, everybody on YouTube. So I really enjoy when a shoe's breathable. I mean, I was wearing those slip-on shoes for working in a restaurant, and those were bad. So I really enjoy having the mesh. That personally, for me, I always say I have two options available in this shoe: one mesh, one knit, or one knit, and it's 50-50.
Yeah. But it's a good shoe. Mizuno is one of the first. Whenever I first started running, Mizuno was the first brand I ever got fit for a pair of shoes. It wasn't the Inspire, it was the Wave Rider. But that's always a brand that's close to my heart, since that was my first OG running shoe. So these guys, again, they're doing good work. They had a couple interesting runs back in like the version 11 or 12. But since then, they've been getting better with each iteration, and I think what you're seeing here is a continuation of that.
So next week
next week we'll grab an ASIC shoe.
Yes.
I'm leaning toward. Do we want to let them vote for the ASIC shoe?
We can put up to a vote, send us a comment, link, call the store and be like, hey, I want this one. You know,
Yeah.
whatever feels great for whoever's out there watching these, which we really appreciate. Everybody, every single viewer, every like, subscribe. It's great. We really feel the love all over. You know, next week, and you have practice today.
Yes.
For track has started. March 11th at the store here in Greensburg is Spike Night, brought to you by Saucony.
Yep.
And you know, if you have a kid who's running track or you're in track, come down, try on some spikes. There'll be prizes and fun, and we'll be taking pictures and posting all kinds of stuff. It'll be really a fun, entertaining together time as a community.
Or if you're antisocial and don't want to be around with everybody else, just come by anytime.
Yeah, come by and interrupt our videos, or just come walk in the background and wave.
That's what we should do. Is let the customers just kind of wander behind
Yeah,
us.
just
Like,
what are these people doing?
Yeah.
That'd be great. I had a new idea to kind of wrap up the videos here,
Okay.
where we
This is
talk
news
about
to me.
something. I was going to spring it on you because I want to be
Okay.
more organic.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Atlanta trials in another video to give him a little bit more time to put some stuff together. He had a great time, if you didn't tell by all the pictures. Something outside the world of running that has caught your interest recently, you know, friendly, you know, like no politics.
So you're asking me what?
Stuff like movie, food, restaurant.
I will say
music.
this. I have no idea. I'm just gonna wing it. But I don't like carrot cake that has raisins in it.
Don't like carrot cake that has raisins in it. Oh, and we'll call this part the finish line. So as we
Okay.
cross the finish line, we'll talk about something not race related, not running.
That's gonna be
related.
hard for me because everything I do is running related.
I know. So we'll have to figure out some stuff, but it just gives us something to talk about, so the viewers get to know a little bit more about us on the outside.
Yeah, raisins. I don't understand the purpose of raisins. Let's just know.
In carrot cake or in general?
In general, like
In general.
carrot cake specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, raisins are not no bueno.
No bueno on the raisins. Since I'll stick with the food themed, I don't get people who steam broccoli. Gross. The texture just goes away. You give me a broccoli floret the size of my head, some little bit of ranch dressing, I'll go to town on that bad boy.
Okay.
But
I agree to disagree.
But you steam that, and I'm just like, the dog isn't even. I don't even give that to my dog. So I don't. Whenever I get Chinese food, my wife gets the broccoli florets that come with it.
I'm good with them. I don't mind.
Now I know who to give them to if I get for lunch here at work. So, you know, little humor aside, we really appreciate everybody is out there, and keep paying attention to these videos. Get to see my editing skills and work now. Wow.
Yeah, we finally have to edit something.
More than just like the ending where I make it pop up. So I'm actually going to try and make it good. If anybody's out there and would like to help with some theme music for Gingerbread Man Running that we can use on YouTube without getting shut down, I would send us a message at any of our social media websites. I'd love some music to intro us that we can legally use.
I can make fart noises with my mouth.
All right, that's it from us this week. Thank you very much.
No?
No? Okay.